Dewalt has two drills out, the DCD801 and 806, that are going to replace the 800 and 805. Now I have three drills here. Can you guess which ones are the new ones? Maybe can you now? I think that's going to be the big thing here, the perform and protect that you see on the back of these two. That's going to be our main difference. Although the DCD 800, which is here, and its hammer drill counterpart, the 805, were great drills, 900 max watts out. And that is pretty good. The drill that we have here is 1,050 max watts out. Although their performance, when we put them in testing together, is so similar that it is really hard for us to see the path as to where one is more powerful. And we're going to go through that. But here's the big difference, and I think this is important. This 800 is a kick-ass drill. It's got a ton of power. It's got no auxiliary handle. So if you were to get into trouble with this, it snaps around and causes some trouble. What we have with the new drills, and this is going to go for both the hammer drill 806 and the 801, which is a standard drill, they're the perform and protect. They're going to have the anti-kickback. Get this one going. They're going to turn off as soon as they see any of that motion. That's good and bad. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think for what we're dealing with in this situation with a small drill, tons of power. In fact, I'm dating myself in this game. We used to have full-size drills that didn't have this much power not too long ago. I mean, 5 years ago, full-size drill had this power. We were jumping up and down. So let's get to drilling and see if technology gets in the way or not. 2 9/16 bore bit on this. This is a big bit, level 2. Probably won't make it. Possibility it will. Full charged 5 amp hour power stack. So pretty good setup on this drill. We're in drill mode. This is the 801. We're going to go one-handed here and just see if anything vibrates around and what happens as we drill the hole. Not enough power. And we have the red light. So as I was coming out, it did turn off. Again, bringing it out, turning itself off. There's a little technology getting in the way. But we're one-handed, so let's just take this guy in. And it cut out again. No red light, so that's on the drill. Red light. So we're cutting out. Now let's put my hand on this and just see if we can actually get through or not. We got a knot right there that is stopping us from going through. Let's just move over a little bit. We're not going to take the full hole and see how this does. We're going to go kind of 1.5 handed here. So we get that red light as we get a little kick. I'm trying to give this a little bit of leeway, but and we got to the end of the hole. It felt a little bit of what it was going to be as far as kickback. You can see here. Not bad. Is technology getting in the way? I don't know. Let's try the 800, see what happens. Here's the 800. Not turning off. Got a level 1. We're going right there. Let's take a full cut and see what happens. All the way through. Now I'm going to lighten up my grip and go with this. Still cuts out, probably because it's jamming more so with the grip. Obviously, a lot more careful with this drill, because if you were to hit, obviously that's going to hurt. Not exactly the safest thing, but seems to be a significant amount of power there, and we didn't really have issues getting through. Now, is it all technology? Is there more power in one than there is the other? Hard to say, but I really think Having the technology gives me a little more comfort, but let's just hang on to this guy, see where it's going. That's the tool, no red light. Both made it through, as long as you hang on to it. Up until the end, and I kind of let this one move around a little bit more to see if we get any false readings. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but by this time in the video, you've already made up your mind if you like the technology or don't. But let's just run through some Spade bits here. This is a 13/16 on level 2. We're just going to see if technology hits us at all here. So if I'm going through and I just move a little bit, what happens? Now I'm full control there. Just moved my arm a little bit, trying to adjust the drill. Let's say that I'm going to go in and have to just move here slowly. Even when I bring the drill back, it shuts off. I don't see that as a huge issue. It's very controllable on my end. I could basically have it turn on or off or not do anything if I wanted to. It's interesting. Level 2, 1.25 inches. No issue. We're just at the end. Doing that. Moving the drill around. But you're not going to in real work. That's just what happens, right? It's just testing this out. So we have a 1.5 inch Spade bit here, and I don't see technology getting any in the way. As long as you're hanging on to this guy. Now that was a good hit and it turned itself off. Fingers still on the trigger, no red light. That's the drill cutting out. I would have expected at that point that we would have got that red light and said, hey, we need to stop this. But we're right in the edge of this knob. See, a lot of bouncing around again and no red light. I would have expected from what we've done over in this area to have that red light kicking on in that. There was a lot of movements. Hole saw, not a big deal. Just, you know, it's interesting to me what this is going to do in different situations. Let's give it a try. I would be much more comfortable with an auxiliary handle on this, but knowing that it's going to turn itself off gives me some comfort. There is no doubt in that. So I don't know. Do I like the technology? I like to see it advance. Do I think this is a little more sensitive than it should be? Maybe, but at the same point in time, I get some comfort using this drill with this power. This is just my opinion, but I like the fact that we have choices. Choices between the Perform and Protect or the anti-rotation or anti-kickback device. The 800 is here if you want a simple, standard old drill. As long as they don't drop the 800 and 805, I think we're in good shape. I'm not saying that the 801 and 806 shouldn't be here. I think they should for people who are using this on a daily basis in tight places for more than what they really should be because there's no auxiliary handle and you're pushing it. It's nice to have that safety to say, I'm in this awkward position. If something happens, the tool turns off, and I'm willing to really allow the tool to possibly turn off more than it should to keep me safe. If you're that guy that gets upset because the tool turned off and you're trying to get something done and it's sketchy, not the tool for you. But if you're that guy who wants a little bit more safety, maybe is doing something a little more sketchy, reaching out there, trying to get between joists, and stuff happens a little bit more and it slows you down slightly, but is more safe, I think these two new tools are for you. I'm really curious how you guys sit on that, because I think this is a 50-50 issue, not an 80-20 issue. I think you're going to see half of the people say, I want the more protection and I want the anti-kickback, because as that happens, I'm safe, I continue to have my income, I don't get hurt, and these injuries don't compound over the time that I'm working. And then I think the other half is going to say, you know what, I'm either A, not going to be stupid enough to get in that situation, or B, I'm going to let the tool do the work, I won't get hurt. And maybe there's a C, D, and E on that. It just seems like there's multiple different types of people who are out there. Some love the protection, some hate it. And as long as we have the choice, I think that's great. We're seeing that in a lot of different tools now, anti-kickback, a lot of safety things in concrete drilling with the anti-rotation, here in just normal drilling. It's nothing new, it's just moving through the line. And we're also seeing prices skyrocket on a lot of these tools as the technology creeps in. And in some cases, I'm not going to say we see failures, but what are we going to see on the 800 in 5 years? If this drill is still working, is it fine? In the 801, this is actually the 806 or the 801 or 806, is that technology going to have problems and stop us from working completely? I think that is always in the back of our head, how much tools cost now, how often we have to replace them, and what gets in the way. That to me is going to be a lot of the things that I'm interested in, and I'm genuinely interested in what you guys think if you feel the same way. I love the protection. I don't like the prices. And it's really getting to a point where if I have to buy a $300-400 drill every 3 years because it's not working right, or it's abuse and warranty won't take it and all this stuff, then that's getting out there. So what do you guys think? My opinion, if you had the 800 and you're happy, don't move up. If you need the protection or want the protection, move up. I think it's probably worth the money right now. We'll see how it lasts in the long term, and we'll do a couple more tests on it. But if you're gonna want the most powerful and you think that one's more than the other, I personally think even though Dewalt feels the 801 and 806 are more powerful, you're not gonna notice the difference. Personal opinion. I think most of the tests out there that you might take a look at, it's going to be differentiations in wood, differentiations in screws, different, things like that, where one's better than the other. They're so close, it's not worth the time testing. Just another opinion. Hammer on me in the comments if you'd like. Give us a like in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.